Good. Okay, good. A lot of good stuff in here. There's, Lalo, of course, was a French composer, French composers all loved to write Spanish music because it was just kind of cooler than French music. You know, German music was very kind of, and they loved kind of the kind of, you know, heart on the sleeve kind of passion of, you know, kind of what we think of like as Italians and Spaniards, just kind of very much maybe say less repressed or whatever you want to say. But it's that kind of music. So, and it's, I mean, you could call it corny a little bit. I mean, nowadays some people think it, but I love it. I think it's fantastic. It's actually the first concerto I actually played with the symphony here when I came here out at Miller Theater outdoors. But okay, so it's very dramatic, almost like you could call it melodramatic. Oh, by the way, I want to say to the people who are listening, unless we have to, I don't know, unless we like have to sign off exactly at 5 or something, I can spend, if people have questions they want to put at the end, like, or put them through the text or something, we could spend 5 minutes and take a couple of questions at the end. Anyway, you can start thinking about that. Okay, so again, picking your notes, knowing where you're going to, because if I just try to play the whole thing, I'm like tied up in knots. So a lot of kind of relaxation, a lot of making, just like, you know, trying to hit an easier tennis shot, you think about where you want the ball to go, right? You don't think about like, I'm going to do all these things. You just think about the kind of the idea of where you, so, ba-da, aha, da-da-da-rum. So the first, I think da-dum, ba-da-da-rum, ba-da-da-da-rum. And then those two notes. Let's try that opening. Good. I think you're doing a lot on, which could, maybe it could work. One thing, I can just barely see your bridge. Actually, could you angle your camera down just a tiny bit more so I want to see where you're, yeah. So exactly, that's perfect, so that I can see. If you can see, I felt like you started kind of like, and move to it. I want you close to the frog, close to the bridge. Yeah. You should feel that resistance to the string. Good. How do I put this the right way? I'm hearing emphasis on notes that don't make sense for the, this is good. Now, if I get too much in those notes in the middle, then I've lost it has to be a simple message to get across, right? It can't be too many flourishes. Good. Crescendo. I think if I remember the part right, I'm going from memory. I haven't looked at it in a while, but but I think it's about again, lift the finger, the fourth finger up so it can come from the skies. So that will give it the articulation it needs because the C string is thick and the fourth finger is tiny. So just, you let gravity do your work. Pull up and... Good. And I think the D leads into the C sharp actually. That would be resolution, but it's going simply. Okay, good. And again, if your hand is relaxed, that means lift and drop. Yeah, especially the 3. Good. So what's happened? You. There's you expect something, but this is higher pitched than you would expect, and then you faster notes. Ya da da da. And then it's and then we go into something else. Play this last one. Good. And as a general principle, when you have a diminuendo, make it a kind of like reverse exponential. If you know, like it bends down like this, like the lower lip of a trumpet. Just like a crescendo should mostly be like this. So you don't want to give up too early. Like often people see a diminuendo and they made yeah. It's most effective if you do the same thing with crescendos. Do it kind of at the end, very at the end. Now it's gone from this. That's doing the same thing up a high pitch. I wouldn't use harmonic there. It has to tug our heartstrings a little bit. There it is. Good. I got a couple of those. Yeah, sounds a little bit not exactly the slide you want, right? That's just accidental slides. So we got to think about where we want to. Actually, you know, you're kind of sliding in the right place. It's just the wrong kind of slide. If I get a lot at the bottom of the slide, then it sounds. But if I play the top of the slide, that's it. What's your fingering right there? Yeah, so slide on the third finger, okay? Yeah, exactly. That way we move. If I slide on the 2, I might get, but I get more at the top of the slide from the third finger. Good. And again, slide on the first finger, the new finger. And this is, my third finger comes from above, and the replacement, do, do. Because if my first finger is already heavy here, then it's going to sound, then I'm going to get that sound. So it's kind of a replacement, not, when my second finger's down, my first finger's not pushing at all. My first finger might even be up when my second finger's down, and then it kind of replaces. Good. Then with a kind of C major, yay, you know, let's play that. Good. Play me one more time. I gotta make sure I'm saying the right thing. All right, I think this is just just a matter of dropping the 4 more. That note wasn't articulating when you go to the D string, and I was trying to think if it's bow or finger, but I think it's just practice. But dropping in coordination with a bow. In fact, I'm dropping my second, third, and fourth together. So that I get more. Good, that's good. See that? I hear that. That's clean. Let's go on. And I would retake the down there so that you have. But yeah. And actually, the whole cello section plays with you. So all you have to do is really stop the bow. And then what? Yeah, then it's just kind of this little cadenza. Let's go from here. Drop the fingers. Drop so we get articulation. On these low strings without dropping, you'll never hear it. Good. You did again the same. But why? Because you made mostly the bottom of the shift on the new bow. So it's just a matter of how you coordinate with your bow shift. Yeah, you'll be. Good. Away from the fingerboard. So the bridge. I would, I think, stretch that so you don't have to shift and you get a stronger finger. So it's kind of inchworming my way up. Da 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 dum da da. I extend with a 3 and then my 1 comes. Yeah, so you get used to these little expansion of the little kind of inchworming your way up. We use that all the time for the. So one part goes, and then the other. You know, it's like a slinky or an inchworm, whatever.
Yeah.
Go on. And again, can't have too many accents. Can't be. It's maybe bum, ba da ba. It's either got to be or one of those 2 Ds has got to be more important. I think. You could make an argument for either one, but. But then the E's got to be more important than the F. I think it can't be. And the E's more important than the D because it's a suspension. Good. Go on. So the change. Okay, what are the changes? So I need you to bring this out a little bit more. Now you can stop the bow a little bit on the open D. People often do this with an under, which I kind of like, but you could do it either way, it depends. But when you have this, you want the really kind of yada, when you really want to kind of dictate it something, then that kind of old finger shift can be nice. Let's do the second one. try the old finger. Yeah, and the goal of that is to really let the third come from outer space. Da, yada. So, but very relaxed, just dropping, easy. Good. Now it's got to be one or the other. It's a or. I think it's probably the C. Usually music moves from the fast notes, from the small notes to the long notes. Try that. And by the way, that's like crazy hard fingering. Usually try and avoid shifting from the same finger on the, unless you're really trying to make a shift, but no. The reason that's hard is not because of the same finger shift. Actually, it's because of the fourth finger. It's 4-3. That's what's hard about it. Actually, even if you use 3-2-3-3 would be easier. Anything but 4-3, because 4-3 is there's a lot of mechanism involved in pulling 4 out of the way and getting to the 3. So 3-2, try 3-2-3 or 2-1-2. Good. Go to the long note. Good. Now I can't tell if that's one of those moments where Zoom like lagged and then sped you up, or if you actually just went through flying through the. You have to, don't rush those notes too much. Good. You don't have to shift it. That'll just tighten up the hand. Whatever you do, just land on 3-2-1-3, 3-2-1-2 for that. Yeah. Let's try that. And again, I think there's too many accents that it loses to meaning. Change, right? And in this one, you don't have to both be under shifts. One could be. So set this apart somewhere. Show us that you're doing something different. So show us that. Maybe if there. Going somewhere, then it can't. Let's hear from the. bow and the left hand. Good. I see. Tongue has reappeared already, so just play me the. Just play me the. Good. This is the difficulty of this theme. It's again going back and forth between 2 and 3. And remember what we said when you have duples, triplets, da, da, the duples are going to be the sticky ones, the triplets are going to be moving forward. When I played this, I remember listening back and I realized I got a little, I made all my triplets. I got a little Las Vegas lounge singer when I did it, so you have to be careful. I mean, it's a little exaggerated, but don't let the tendency to want to be melodic get to turning. Keep that in your mind. Just try that once. Yeah, but all, and then of course I've been exaggerating, but all in one. Then of course on the surface of one line. And crescendo. So save your bow. I have this much bow for that B flat. And then let the trill. Let the tom. So experiment with that, but first be able to play precisely the rhythm. Then you give yourself the freedom. You know, be able to walk the straight line, and then do what. Once you've gotten rid of the habits that you can do it exactly right, then you let yourself just go free with the phrasing and do what you want. Okay, it's great to hear you. Good, very good job. Do we have any questions? Anyone want to? I haven't looked at the.
Well, thank you, Brenton. Well, there are a lot of great advices. I mean, they're very similar to violin, actually.
You know,
Like,
it's the same stuff. It's like you think music first. I remember when you were working with Callista, it's a lot of you talk a lot about also the kind of articulation and coordination to kind of like clean, relaxed, kind of like da 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 da. But you can hear that immediately when you hear a really good player. You hear immediately they just have that sense of pata pata pata. You know, the violin speaks.
yeah, there are a lot of like finger striking, like dropping, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but
That's the same.
relaxed. It's relaxed. It's not. Yeah, it's just, and you know, but you know, it doesn't matter. You don't need to be able to do that. But that's how you articulate. That's how you.
Yeah, yeah. Great. Thank you so much for everyone's. I think if you have any questions, oh,
I
okay.
see
So let's
one.
all
Yeah.
pick, a picture together. And then if you think about your questions, if you have any, please ask. So, okay, I think everyone should, show your face. Okay, smile and say yeah. Okay, so are we ready,
I
everyone?
see cellists.
Okay, all the cellos, everyone, I mean everyone.
We're looking at who has the cleanest rooms here.
Yeah, we have a lot of people here, so everyone.
I can't
Uh,
see everyone.
well, okay, let's see.
Doesn't matter. I'll see.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, I think Joe, did you get it? Mm, Okay, good. All right, great. So do you have any questions?
You know, I saw one about a warm-up routine, which I'll talk about a little bit actually, and I was influenced a lot by Frank in this. Because you know, when I was younger and like you go into an audition or something, and I was kind of a jerk, so I was always like trying to prove, whatever, to play something fast and play all this stuff, and like or play the excerpts over and over again. And I noticed when Frank warms up, he plays just kind of. Kind of getting the vibrato for each finger going, kind of with these long kind of. I mean, what's hard to do? It's hard to warm up the left hand to get it to start to vibrate. It's hard to keep the bow. The bow wants to go too fast. It's easy to make the bow go fast, to move the bow slow. And by the way, my teacher, Nelsova, used to do these long, loud bows at the bridge every day. Very similar stuff. This is playing by the bridge. This is where the sound lives on the cello. Okay, this is how you create sound. And someone could be, someone tongue-sized playing at the bridge, going to get 3 times as much sound as someone who's 500 pounds. Well, 500 is a lot of pounds, but like 300 pounds that's playing by the fingerboard. And you get a fuller sound, you get a richer sound. So this is something cellists always have a problem with because the strings, it sounds ugly there. Nobody wants to. But if you practice close to the bridge, then you can always back off later, and that's what you want. You want to be able to practice. So slow bows, lots of vibrato. Long bows, close to the bridge, vibrato. And that actually has the effect. It also kind of calms me down because it kind of depends on your personality. I'm like kind of a little bit spazzy, and so it's like for me, I need to it's kind of almost like deep breathing. It's kind of long bows. But it's also true that when the left hand is vibrating, then it's warmed up. So I stole that from Frank, and I think it's really been for me, it's been a really kind of good warm-up routine. Like, especially because like his personality is just like super chill, and that's everything. He's just like, hey, yeah, okay. But that was actually really good for me because I go too much the other way. Any other questions? I can't see the chat.
Oh yeah, there's a Grace tips for a stronger and more relaxed bow hold.
So the stuff we talked about, for sure, building the individual strength of the fingers. One thing I didn't talk about is you have to be able to alter the angle. So I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen this exercise. Do you do this on violin too?
Okay, you know what? Actually, we just talked about the long note, with all the violins and also the finger motion today.
Yeah, exactly the same stuff. So what am I doing? Okay, I'm basically doing this. Bop, 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 curl, uncurl like this, except it's at an angle. And to be honest, it doesn't quite work if you just do this. You push a little harder with these fingers than with these fingers so that you can make kind of a straight line for the bow. But it's basically this flexibility. And you can start without the bow, you can start with a pencil or something. But this is, and that actually ties a lot into being able to roll from, because sometimes you need to play on the edge of the hair. If I play then we want to be on the edge of the hair, but then I want to be on flat hair, and I have to have both. So for me, my thumb actually changes. Like when I play flat hair, my thumb is going like this, and I'm kind of more like kind of Rostropovich-y bow, everything weight. But when I'm playing edge of the hair, then it's kind of more like a typical violin. And then the stuff I talked about the whole bows and the building up the strength of the individual fingers. Be able to do a caveman bow change where nothing, don't. This might feel relaxed, but honestly, if you can't control your fingers, you're always going to be tense. It's actually, you're always, and especially the worst thing is when you're just kind of barely hanging on, so crack the fingers. Because what makes you tense? The feeling like you're going to drop your bow, right? The feeling like you've got to hang on to your bow. So the more you have each individual finger, if you can play like this, you know, if you can play this, or you know, or this, then you're going to feel much less. When you get all four fingers, it's only going to feel better. So it's like you practice something that's harder, and then you actually can relax much more. Also, don't, you know, think simple. If it looks like, you know, you're doing all this kind of junk, it's simple. Watch the greatest cellists, just look, it looks like the blah, blah, blah. And of course they have subtlety, but it's really simple.